Christian the person. That's a good. I say good right now. That's the short answer. But it's a forever kind of growth type of thing. So it's like you kind of never at your final form. So the short answer is good, and I say the reason it's good is because I'm, kind of finding new ways to grow recently. I've had a few changes in my life over the past couple years where track is still, I guess, the center of my life, but, it's a lot of other things that, get taken into consideration now. But the short answer is good. The long answer is it's a never-ending journey to get to the level that you want to get to. Shout out my man Trey, lived across the street. My best friend growing up, for real. He ran track in the summers, like the AAU track, the youth track. So it'll be, and like we together every day, like we outside, like real, like outside kids, basketball, football, tag, whatever the knick-knock, doing all of that. But when summer came around, he was gone. He'd be gone 2-3 days at a time at these track meets. And he'd come back with stories about how fun it was. So I went to his father, because his father was his coach. Went to his father, I said, hey, I want to run track next year. And that was it from right there. So that was 9 years old. And I'm, that's 22 years I've been running now. The traveling, I really like the travel part of it. Sometimes it can get a little annoying when, if the race is Friday and it's far away, maybe, like you kind of want to chill going into the race. So it could get a little hectic with travel, but still, nonetheless, I say the travel is one of the ups, the relationships, the people you meet, it's all different types of people that I would have never connected with had it not been for track and field. And then it's something to chase. As I get older, I'm realizing like a lot of people don't really have that thing. Like a lot of people is real monotonous throughout their day, and that's not no knock on them. Is they found their thing, they do that, they make their money, they stay out the way. That's cool. But the having something that I'm chasing every single day is definitely one of the ups, and I'd imagine that's something that I'm a miss a lot when I'm done. The downs is just the sport is ruthless. It's like, I speak for myself particularly, but I'm 100% sure it's other athletes that feel me on this, but it's like you put everything into it, and that it don't always love you back. Like sometimes you don't get the performances are not indicative of the work that you put in. Sometimes the performances are not indicative of the sacrifices you make and the time you put in and the effort you put in, and it get frustrating. And then sometimes you rewarded with injury. My first 4 years pro, I was injured every single year for 4 years. So it was, the downs definitely come on the performance side. Other downs aside from, frustrating performances is just, you kind of miss out on things, but it's a choice you make. It's something you gotta do. You missing friends' weddings, you missing family time, your father sending the pictures of everybody at Easter dinner and, the all the little kids in the family getting big. You only seeing your family X amount of times a year. So just, miss time with loved ones, I say, but it's a necessary sacrifice, but a down nonetheless. Some of it is, and it's dangerous to do this. Like, I think you gotta be real careful when you do it. Sometimes you gotta adjust the finish line a little bit. Like still keep the big goal, but if that's the only goal that you got, then you just, until you hit that, you just kind of in a perpetual state of dissatisfaction. So, celebrating the small goals along the way. Like, okay, cool, I didn't have the race I wanted to have, but you know what? This time last year I was injured and I couldn't race. So you gotta find joy in those small things, because at this level the mental is so important. Everybody is talented. Everybody work hard. You can't get this far without it. So it's like a lot of the things that separate you from the next man is going to be the mental. So you got to take care of that. I believe in the work that I'm doing. I believe in my coach. I believe in myself. So when I do have a frustrating performance, I believe myself when I say I'm better than this performance right here. Like if I had a string of bad performances and I believe that that's just where I am now, that's just my ability level, that's my fitness level, then I put it down, because there's no need in me still running if I'm not going to be competing at the level I want to compete. So it's that belief that I still got it, and it just hasn't come out yet. I haven't pulled it out yet, so it's a little bit of, celebrating small wins along the way, even if you got to find something to celebrate. Celebrating those small wins along the way, and keeping that belief that you can still do the thing that it is that you're trying to do. It's kind of like the cliche saying, you shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you land amongst the stars. So, you got that delusional, confident goal, right? Even if I don't, that kept me running professionally. Like, this is my 8th year running professionally. I'm a veteran. Like, not a lot of people run professionally for 8 years. That's bounced me back from injuries. And then there's so much other transferable lessons that just kind of go over in the other parts of your life outside of sports as well. So, yeah, you definitely got to have, and I don't even think that's just sports. I think, like that kind of delusional level of confidence is almost a necessity, so to speak. There was one point, 2020. It was my 4th year pro, my 4th injury in as many years, and this was the most serious injury. This was a rupture to my Achilles tendon. I ruptured my Achilles, and at the time it was just a tough time for me. So I thought that was it for real. Like, not me making the decision to quit, but like me being forced to kind of stop running, because my resources was running low. I was tapped out on money. I had just moved from Boston to San Diego, with really, a dollar and a dream. Like, 2020 was supposed to be an Olympic year. So it was like, I'm about to go move to San Diego. I'm about to run fast, about to get a new contract. And then you get out there, you rupture your Achilles in February. And it's like, I really don't got nothing going. Like, this is the thing that I was doing for me to be out here. I'm about to probably have to move back home. But then COVID hit, and couldn't nobody run. Everybody had to wait for me. So, I got my surgery, I did my rehab. And by the time the world opened back up, I was right back there on the start line again. And one of the biggest things that I kind of took away from two of the biggest things I took away from, letdowns, failures, injuries, all of that is, one is, kind of never get too high, never get too low. When things are going good, you can't, in the words of the great poet, Fabulous, don't be so up that it blinds you, or so far ahead that you don't see people out behind you. So when you up, when you're doing good, you gotta find a way to, kind of stay ambitious while still celebrating your win, your accomplishment. Enjoy the fruits of your labor. So never get too high, never get too low either. In the words of the late great Nipsey Hussle, never let a hard time humble us. So it's like, never get too high, never get too low. You gotta keep trucking. You gotta keep putting one foot in front of the other. Nobody coming to save you, especially in a sport where it's a solo sport, right? You gotta do it. No matter how good of a coach you got, no matter how good your trainers are, no matter the facilities you got, the resources, you gotta do it. You gotta want to do it yourself. You gotta find a way to do it when you can't, or when you limited resources. But it's really all on you, and that's kind of how it is in the track and field world. And that's kind of how it is in life, right? Like you got something that you want to do. If you don't do it, it won't get done. When I put the sport down, when I hang the spikes up, what do? I just wake up and, make a couple dollars and kind of live life, or like, what's that new thing that I'm going to chase? I'd imagine I find something to chase, whether it be, serious or not. I kind of play around with the idea of, like, I don't know, CrossFit or something, just to do like little Spartan race competitions, something. Like, I just can't see myself even just going to the gym every day. Like, I just can't see myself like training for nothing. Like, I think I would want to do something with whatever fitness I get. What that something is, I don't know yet. So it's scary to think about a little bit, because so much of who I am is just around track and field. So not that that's the only thing I am, but, so much of my life has been around sports. So once sports is gone, I don't know. I'll figure it out. But yeah, I definitely would want to be a part of the sport still, somehow. Like, even me and one of my training partners kind of play around with the idea, like, kind of stepping into the agent side of it. That's a fun conversation to have. Talk about starting an agency, representing athletes. It's a lot of things in the sport of track and field that we, as the track and field athletes, and me, myself as well, don't really like and would like to see changed. I would like to, be in that room, part of that conversation, in the, consultant capacity, on the board of director capacity. I don't know, somehow, somewhere. I think those ideas of how to change the sport and push the sport forward should come within the athlete body. And that's something I can see myself being a part of. For somebody, that came out the gate going crazy, I can't really speak for them. I can't really tell you how they don't get cocky or why they don't get cocky. But for me specifically, it was like every time I jumped a level and got to the next level, I'm at the bottom of that level now. So it's like, in high school, I say I was, above average, right? I get to college, you jump to elite. Now I'm at the bottom of elite, and you kind of go pro, and you running against the best of the best. Now it's like I'm at the bottom of the best of the best. So it's easy not to be cocky when you're not winning all of the races. For somebody who is winning all races and they've been the best of the best for however long, can't really answer that. Excited to see what this year is going to look like for me. If I have to say so myself, it's going to look amazing, right? Like, that's that delusional confidence, right? I had a race last night that didn't go as good as I wanted it to. But, I got another race next week, and, that's going to be the one. And then I'm off to Germany after that. Then I'm back in LA, and then I go New York, I think. And then, then the season really ramp up going into the Olympic trials in June. So it's like, just do everything I can to get on that line and feel as confident as I can to do, come up with whatever I can come up with. Run a race I could be happy with. That's really the goal, Run a race I could be happy with, have a season that I could be happy with, which would lead to, me having a career that I could be happy with when I'm done with it.